you are not going to become an overnight success. So get that out of your mind.
Don't focus on the stuff that doesn't matter. Focus on the stuff that really matters. It matters taking care of your customers.
If you feel like you're struggling with customer service and your employees just aren't demonstrating the love, care, the empathy for customers the way you would want, you're the problem. Welcome back to the 3PX show. Thank you for joining episode 7.
Woo-hoo.
We're like moving right along, man.
I like it.
Yeah.
Episode 7.
I know at some point you have to like close out the first season and then like start season 2 or another season. So I don't know when we'll do that, but we're just kind of like rolling along here.
Yeah.
So episode 7. Yeah. Thanks for joining. And we've got a fun episode to talk about because we're going to talk about customer experience and building a culture of customer experience, and then some tactics or techniques that you can use to ensure that you are solving problems for your customer. You're getting down to root cause issues, things like that. So glad that everyone's here. And I think we just get kicked off with WWW.
Oh, okay.
So we can start with what's Wayne wearing? So I can see it from here, mindset. So tell me about it.
Whatever the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve.
Whatever the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve.
Yes,
Talk about that.
It's the mindset. So it's just, early on, our mindset was, to make sure that, we wanted to have a good culture for our employees. We wanted to make sure that, the lessons that we learned, that I learned really more or less bouncing around from different companies over my career and going into this one, there's a certain mindset that I wanted to have and to build our culture, how we did that, how we treated people, because that was super important to us. So that's the mindset. But it's also how we took care of our customers. It's not just, hey, when we get the sale, it's over with. That's when it starts. To have that mindset that now that we've got the customer's money and we got their order and that kind of thing, we really got to deliver. We've got to deliver it well. But because we want them to come back. We want them to tell other people. Same way with our employees. We want them to enjoy coming to work, and we want them to tell their friends, to tell their family, to enjoy about coming here. And so it's just the mindset that we have. People have different mindsets on different things, but our mindset was always, how do we treat people how you want to be treated is important to us, and then just do whatever it takes to take care of the customer.
All right, you're going to like this.
All right.
So you ever heard the terminology, name it, claim it?
Name it, claim it.
Have you ever heard the terminology, blab it, grab it?
Yes.
So I'm not a name it, claim it, blab it, grab it, see it, achieve it type individual, because what I know and what you know is that's usually not the way it works.
Yeah.
You see something in your mind, you conceive an idea in your mind, and it could take months, years, several years to really see what you conceived in your mind, your dream to come to fruition. It goes back to the last t-shirt you were wearing last episode about discipline. So, my challenge would be you have to have the right mindset, but no, more often than not, this is not an overnight success kind of thing. And,
none of it is.
And people can get tricked into that because of really social media, and there's a tendency to really glorify instant success. Yeah. People who just kind of made it overnight. That's what you see all over Instagram and social media, all that kind of stuff. And that is atypical. That is not the norm. So mindset is important, but include that with discipline and consistency, and you got to be in it for the long haul, and your dreams don't come true overnight.
It's that fast food syndrome. Nowadays you can DoorDash and have it here instantly. You can get what you want, build it the way you want it. You can supersize it. You can do all that kind of stuff, and it's right there at your fingertips. And people get used to that, and they think that's how it should be in everything. Amazon does it really good. They're super quick. If you want this shirt or you want that phone or you want whatever it is, you can order it, and it's almost there to you same day sometimes. So our country, our which is great. We got the greatest country in the world, but you look at what we do and how we do it, and it's just the mindset has shifted that if I want it, I can get it right now. Instant gratification, and when you're in business, it doesn't happen. Even though when you start winning awards and you start doing things that people recognize of what you're doing, they don't take into account all those years that it took you to get to that point. and then you get the gratification then maybe, or you get the awards then and those kind of things. We've been blessed to get several awards over the past couple of years of our growth and how we've done our business and those kind of things. But it didn't start within the past couple of years. It started 14 years ago when we started the company.
I just forwarded you another one yesterday, named one of Nashville's largest privately owned companies.
Yeah. That's quite the honor. I was blown away by that.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Me too. That was a cool one.
Yeah.
This will be like, people are going to hate me when I say this because everybody wants to believe you're going to hit it overnight. But the best thing I can tell someone watching or listening right now is you are not going to become an overnight success. So get that out of your mind. Stop watching the Instagram stuff. Stop watching the social influencers that they did one thing and within a week had 2 million followers. They went viral, or they had an idea and they hit it big really fast. That is not going to happen to you. So please be disciplined, be consistent. It may take years of grinding, and that's okay. That doesn't make you unique. That makes you normal. Yes. Everybody else is working hard for years to build the type of life that they want. It doesn't happen overnight. It's not going to happen overnight for you. If you get lucky and it does, awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
But 99% of you watching or listening, that is not going to happen to you. So you've got to build the discipline, the right mindset today that's going to carry you over the next several years to ultimately build that life that you want.
What do they say when it's the lottery, especially when the lottery gets so big like it has and like the U.S. lottery or whatever, those when they do those where they're like almost $1 billion, however hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. The difference between buying one ticket and buying 100 tickets, the decimal points don't show. There's no difference. So you think, well, I've got 100% chance more. I bought 100 tickets. Doesn't matter. It's that one ticket. You're just as likely to win with that one ticket as you are if you had 100 tickets or even maybe 1,000 tickets, kind of thing. That's just how it is with the other things. Somebody may hit the lottery, but it doesn't mean everybody does.
And all those years of learning, of failing, of trying different things, of grinding, all those years are forming the disciplines so that when you do reach that level of success that you're trying to find, that you know how to manage it, you know how to handle it, you know how to be a good steward of it. Those overnight success stories oftentimes don't know how to handle the success, the finances, or if it's stardom or fame, they don't know how to handle it because they never built the disciplines on the path to that success. So there are blessings in the journey. That should be a whole other podcast. There are blessings in the journey even before you hit it big because you're learning so much and you're becoming disciplined along the way. So that when you do achieve, the success, the company you've been trying to build, the profitability you've been trying to achieve, whatever it is that you're trying to, however you define success for yourself, the road to success is paved with lots of lessons and fundamental things that you have to learn. Nobody goes from middle school straight into the NBA.
Right.
It's years and years of learning and understanding the nuances of the game and growing physically and mentally, to reach that next level. So, the things that we talk about and the things that we're doing in our businesses are all the same. This is not 2 years worth of effort. This is years and years and years of building to this point, where we are, and we're not done yet. So one of the key things to getting there is creating a strong culture of serving and loving customers. And we use the word love a lot. We, just yesterday I told all the team members I was in a listening and learning session. We were doing diversity training to our up and coming managers. And I told everybody when they left, I said, look, I love each and every one of you. I want you to be successful. I'm here for you. If you need something, just reach out to me. So we use that word. We truly mean it, but we have to have team members who love our customers,
right?
Not just want to be here for a job, but love our customers. And when you started this business, you've talked a lot about building a culture with employees and team members who demonstrate our core values, who support our core focus, who love each other, treat each other with respect, right? All that kind of stuff. How does that translate, in your opinion, to building a culture of loving the customer, serving the customer, and taking care of the customer?
So that goes so hand in hand. I've always believed that if you take really good care of your employees, you do the things that it just means to where they love coming to work and they love who they work for and they do it. You take care of your team, you don't have to worry about your customer nearly as much because you're going to take care of them so well, and you build a great culture within your organization. They're going to take care of the customer for you because they're going to want to take care of it. And so that's why it goes so hand in hand, because we talk about customers. We talk about making sure that that we make sure that we take care of everything if they have an issue. It's not a matter of if we have customer issues. It's a matter of when we have customer issues. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I've always told people this, that that's how you can really, if you have an issue with a customer, nobody wants to have an issue at all with the customer. As far as customer complaints or this got damaged or whatever happened. We don't want that. Nobody wants that at all. But sometimes that can really, I'm going to say this, I hope I don't say it the wrong way, but it can be a benefit to you with the long-term customer, because what they do find, what the customer finds out, and when they have an issue with you, if you jump on it and you take care of it really quick for them and you answer the questions and you jump through the hoops to make sure that they're taken care of, you may have a customer for life at that point. Because customers understand that too, that those problems are going to happen. Mm-hmm. And so, but it's not a matter of the problem happening. It's how do you handle it and how do you take care of it once that problem does happen. And so we've talked about that over the years, is to make sure that, hey, when we do have an issue, let's don't let it sit there and let weeds grow around it. Let's jump on it. Let's take care of it. Let's find what that issue is and try to find out what that root cause is. But let's make sure we take care of the customers. And I've always believed that, you don't just put the customer's order that was damaged in the back of the line and they have to get back up there. Hey, let's jump on it. Let's knock it out. Let's get it through because they've had that order sitting out there a little bit longer. And sometimes we win those, sometimes we lose those. But for the most part, I think we do a good job of taking care of it. But it starts with us taking care of our people to make sure that we show them the love, let them know that we love them, and really build the culture of who we are and know what our core values are, and to make sure that they know what they are and that we live by those as much as we possibly can. And if you do that, I think that's just a winning formula for you all the way around.
If you're not taking care of your team members, you have no right to hold a team member accountable for taking care of a customer.
Yeah, 100%.
You don't have the right to set that expectation. If you're not loving your people, if you're not taking care of them, if you're not providing a world-class environment, working environment, if you're not providing a world-class culture, if you're not pouring into them, appreciating them, you have no right to ask them to show love and affection and empathy to your customers.
Yep.
So talking about hiring and onboarding team members, I am a believer. Man, I think I just feel like, dude, this is going to be conflict when I say this. This is just Steve's opinion. You can disagree if you want to. I'm sure I'll get some text messages about it. I do not believe you can teach someone to love customers or even like customers. You can't teach people to love others or like customers. You can teach a team member how to resolve an issue. You can teach a team member what to say, but you can't teach someone to care. That's the big takeaway there. You cannot teach people to care. That has to be something that's either internally inside them, right, or something that is developed through their experience and they learn to care because maybe someone cared for them. That's why I say love people, right? You can't teach it. It just has to be something that's brought out of people through experience or whatever. But several years ago, I was in San Antonio, Texas, and I was at the Chick-fil-A, stopped by the Chick-fil-A to eat, and they were just crushing service, man. Everybody was smiling, happy. I mean, like it was Chick-fil-A on steroids at this place. And I was talking to the lady at the front, and I was like, man, this place is awesome. You guys are just really next level. How do you find these people? And she said, well, she's like, I don't know. I don't do the hiring, kind of thing, but our owner's here. I was like, I'm going to go sit down. go get him and send him out. I want to talk to him. So I sat down, and a couple minutes later, a guy comes out, and he's like, hey, do you want to talk to me? I said, absolutely. Have a seat. So we start talking.
I didn't think he was in trouble.
Yeah, he probably thought something was wrong.
Yeah.
And I just told him, I said, look, I'm just really impressed. Every time I go into a Chick-fil-A, it's always good service. And you start to expect that. Like that becomes normal.
100%.
Right? But this one was off the charts. And I asked him, I said, how do you find people like that? Because I've always been a believer of you can't teach empathy, you can't teach care and love. You can teach people the techniques of what to do and what to say, but you can't teach heart things. You can only teach mind things. And what I was asking him is, how do you find heart people?
Right.
Right. And he talked about how they have this interview framework that they go through, and you have to, you ask these interview questions, but he said, I asked this one question in every interview, and this has stuck with me for years. He said, at the end of every interview, to determine if this is a person who will fit the culture I'm trying to build or not, I ask them, tell me the last time that you helped a friend or neighbor and didn't ask for anything in return. And he said, if they can't answer that question and, kind of satisfactorily, I won't hire them.
Wow.
It stuck with me.
Oh, because that's, not most people, but I mean, it's a good determination, right? Because he's going to find the heart people, the people that take care of their community, take care of their neighbors, their family. And hey, you know what? What goes around comes around. I'm not worried about trying to get something for it. I just want to help you. One question in the interview process. And that's what he staked his hiring on to determine, is this the right person or not? So I really took that away. I have his business card somewhere. I can't remember his name now, but it was that's pretty awesome. There's probably 50 Chick-fil-A's in San Antonio, Texas now. I was going to say, if you had that card, that'd be a guy that would want to just invite on here sometime and just talk to us about it, because he obviously has the formula right already. He's got that zeroed down. Yeah, that's amazing.
So really, the key takeaway here is you can build all the processes you want, and you can teach your people. When a customer has a problem, here's what you say, here's what you recommend, here's what you do. But if you're not hiring people who genuinely care about others, you are sunk from day one. Mm-hmm. So it starts with the hiring process. And then I would say the next thing is, you as a leader have to demonstrate care and love yourself. How important is that for you as the owner when you're walking around every single day and you're interacting with people, that you are setting an example for them of the same type of behavior that you expect them to display? Yeah,
because they're gonna give what they get, right?
Yes.
And if they get somebody that they know that truly cares about them, that loves them, that's a huge step for them, because they're gonna feel it. It's not one of those that doesn't matter what comes out of your mouth. Honestly, and what matters is how you carry yourself, and when you're around your team, because they can see through people that are fake and not genuine. But when they see the people that really care, that really matter, that's when that's when it says something. Because while you're having a conversation with someone else, they're watching that conversation just as much as they are listening to it when they're having the conversation with them. So that's huge. So that owner obviously gets it 100%, because he probably knows every one of his employees. He knows who they are. He knows about their family. He knows what their struggles are that they're going through. There's little things that he says and does that they know he cares about them. Mm-hmm. And then they also see that when customers come through and probably know him, know some of their people, and because it trickles down. If they know him, then they're going to know a lot of the other people that are working there, and they're going to come through every day to get their cup of coffee, even though it makes them maybe take them, 5 more minutes to go through that line versus another line, which is probably not true anyway, because Chick-fil-A is so amazingly fast that you think, man, there's 30 cars in line. It doesn't matter. 5 minutes later, you're driving out of there. And there could be 2 cars in line at another one, and it takes you 20 minutes to get through it sometimes. So they have the system down really, really well, but people can see.
Yeah, it's clear when there's intentionality about customer service and loving people. There's clear differentiators in the business. So if you're listening to this and you've got customer complaints and a lot of customer issues. I say a lot, a lot is relative. But if you feel like you're struggling with customer service and your employees just aren't demonstrating the love, care, the empathy for customers the way you would want, you're the problem.
Yeah.
You are the problem. You manager, you leader, you owner, whoever you are, you're the problem because you're not hiring right and because you are not setting the example by how you treat your team members to level set exactly how you want them to be treating your customers. And there's got to be extreme ownership there. I can't even begin to tell you in my previous life, there was so much energy put behind just resolving the problem. We used to call them customer ops, which was short for customer opportunities. I don't know why we just didn't call them complaints. I guess because we were trying to mask and call it something better than it really was, but it was a complaint.
Yeah.
There was so much energy behind you had to resolve that customer op in a certain number of hours, a certain number of time. And if it didn't get resolved, it got elevated to the next level. And then if it didn't get resolved, it got elevated to me. And there was only energy put to how many open customer ops do you have? How long have they been open? And all that kind of, that's it. Zero energy to what is driving your customer ops. Why are you having complaints? Why do you have multiple complaints at certain stores? It was always about just getting off the list, not having any open customer ops. But it's that type of mentality that will sink businesses because you're not focused on the right thing. You're focused on just getting the customer happy and moving on to the next thing, as opposed to really caring enough about them to understand what caused the problem and then make sure that it doesn't happen to somebody else.
Yeah. So
now that we've kind of talked about hiring and I made everybody mad saying telling them you're the problem with why your customers' issues are happening, whether it's a quality issue or a treatment issue, you're the problem. Take ownership. There's lots of things you can do to measure your customer success. CSAT, NPS scores. I've always used NPS, and that stands for Net Promoter Score, and it's a very common score in the CX world to determine basically the health of your customer experience. And it is only a snapshot. We're going to get into this. I can hear Zach yelling at me already. You should not be seeking a high NPS score. What you focus on is, delivering a great experience. And I don't want to get ahead of myself. We'll talk about that. But NPS is one measurement that you can use, and it's basically the percentage of promoters divided by the percentage of detractors. And that's how you arrive at this percentage. The problem with these scores is it's this comparison mentality. And you can be operating in an industry that has historically low NPS scores, which would translate into historically there are more detractors in that industry. I'll give you an example. Healthcare, believe it or not, healthcare is like one of the historically lowest NPS score industries, like a 10 or a 20. It's like everybody hates their doctor. It's wild. Either everybody hates their doctor or they hate the hospital they go to, but everybody hates healthcare.
Yeah.
Well, the danger in that is because if you're running a hospital or you're running a medical clinic, you're comparing your NPS score to your competitor's NPS score or the industry standard NPS score, which could be low and creates a lot of opportunity for improvement. And you're walking around beating your chest like, my NPS score is 25 and the industry standard is 20. Well, what that basically means is you could have 60%, because there are passives in there. You could only have 40%, that's promoting, and you can only, and then 15% of your people hate you or are detracting. Well, there's your score of 25 right there. And then another 50% or whatever the 75, whatever the number is are passive. There's a massive opportunity to improve, but because you're just comparing yourself to someone else, you think you're doing well and you're really not serving your customers at all.
You're just looking at a scorecard.
Yes.
And that's it. And that doesn't mean anything over here. You're not solving the problem or the issue. It's just well, my score is better than your score, or my score is better than the industry average, and I'm doing better than everybody else, so I'm good. Mm-hmm. But you're really not solving the root cause of the issue.
Yep, 100%. So there are other industries that historically have, higher scores and all that. But the downside here is, please be careful when you're looking at your NPS or your CSAT or whatever score you're looking at. Please be careful not to compare yourself to others. Then the second thing I would say is, you have to be careful when you're pushing that score to your people, because you will start teaching them to only care about the score,
right,
and not about actually how they're making people feel doing business with them. Because there's a lot of different ways to manipulate that score without actually improving the way you operate your business or improving the way you're treating your customers. And I'll give you one example. Man, these last couple episodes, I feel like I'm just making people mad.
Not at all, dude.
Okay. You know what I hate? I hate it when a company offers me $5 or $50 off the next purchase or something to go give them a Google review, or complete this survey and if you give us a 10, we'll give you a coupon or a discount off or something like that. Basically, what you're doing is you're paying for good scores to try to make your NPS score look good without actually doing the work of improving operations or improving the service you're giving to your customer to make the score look better.
Yeah. And you're not paying enough if you do it that way anyway.
No, you're not.
I don't need $5 to spend 30 minutes on a little where you got to go through and do a checklist or something like that. Don't do that. I mean, just do the right thing and fix it. And make it a little bit easier, right?
I know. If you're doing that, if you're paying for surveys, if you're paying for good scores, please stop. Stop today. Stop tomorrow. Stop. You're blinding your executive team. You're blinding your managers. You're blinding your leaders to the problems that exist within your customer experience. You're blinding them, and you're making them believe that you are actually better than you really are, because you're trying to chase a score. You're trying to chase Google stars, or you're trying to chase, some board review PowerPoint deck so that you can tell your board members that your NPS score is better than the industry average, and 20% of your customer base hates you.
Yeah.
Stop.
And that's what a lot of companies find themselves falling into that trap, because it's like, hey, I've got to have this score because that's what the previous business, the ones that were in charge did, and that's just the way it's always been done. And just get in there and fix the issue. Hey, take care of the customer, make sure that they're happy. That's going to be super important. And then let's start finding the root cause. Are we having that same problem over and over? Was that a one-off? Those kind of things. But the big thing is you want customers to come back. You want that repeat business. It's easier to keep a customer than it is to find a new one, is what they always say. And cheaper. Yeah, because, now you've got to start all over. And if you have a good customer that buys from you, just take care of them and do the right thing and make sure that they're always in great shape, and that you service them the way they want to be serviced, that you don't push them off, that you don't push things out and you just forget about it. That's what's going to make a customer mad. I mean, in a sense, who cares about an NPS score? I've never really looked at that part of it. I always look at I'm not looking at a score. Now we have our NCRs, our different things that we look at, that we monitor, and it's important to monitor it to see where we are. But I don't look at it versus an industry average. I don't care what the our competitors are doing. I only care about what we're doing and how we do it. Let's do it the best that we can. I remember back in the 70s, John Wooden, if you remember him, probably the greatest basketball coach ever, with UCLA. He won 9 out of 10 in the 70s championships. Had Bill Walton, had just all these great players coming through. And I think they asked him one time, what is it, when you are looking at your the competitors, when you're looking at their tapes and stuff to get ready to play him, his comment was, I don't ever look at them. I feel like if I get my team ready enough and do the best that we can do, then we're going to beat everybody. We're going to do what we want to, and we're going to win regardless. And that's just really laying yourself out and competing on a level that that you're going to do really, really well, don't focus on the stuff that doesn't matter. Focus on the stuff that really matters. And a score, in a sense, doesn't really matter. It matters taking care of your customers and really, if we have an issue, great. Even if you don't have an issue, take care of that customer at all times, and they're going to come back to you the next time.
100%. And I think so. What I want to introduce a concept here to follow up on that. So you got a customer complaint that comes in. You do whatever you have to do to make sure that customer's happy. But then the concept I want to introduce is what's called complaint autopsies. You got to go back and understand what happened. And there's a couple of different ways you can do that. You can use a fishbone framework. You can use 5 whys. I like the whys because it's those annoying questions. I'll give you an example of a complaint using the 5 whys in the complaint autopsy framework. So let's take a piece of equipment or something, right? I probably shouldn't even use that example considering the issues that we've had. We won't even get into that.
Yeah.
With one piece of equipment out there, Lord bless it. But piece of equipment goes down. Okay. Why did the piece of equipment go down?
Yeah.
Well, the fan burned out. Why did the fan burn out? Well, because it didn't have oil. Why didn't it have oil? Because it wasn't inspected. Why wasn't it inspected? Because we don't have a preventative maintenance program, right? Why do we not have a preventative maintenance program, right? So if you can use the 5 whys in your complaint autopsies to try to get to the root cause of issues. If you ask why enough times, you'll get to the bottom of whatever it is.
Yep.
I can give you another real life example. So in the CDF business, we were getting call after call after call after call around shipping.
Mm-hmm.
And where's my shipment? What's going on with my shipment? So when we were doing our call analysis, I saw all these calls coming in for this one thing. Okay. Why are customers calling for this? Because they're asking for where their shipment is, right? Why do they not know where their shipment is? Because we didn't send them a tracking number. Why didn't we send them a tracking number? Because it's not on the email. Why is it not on the email? Because the shipping vendors that we use are not listed in our Pro Builder. Why are the shipping vendors that we use not listed in our Pro Builder? Because we don't have the right URLs connect. Why don't we have Eventually we solved it. And now if you go and ask our customer support team, they get very few of those phone calls. So we eliminated a major source of friction, a lot of time and energy and bandwidth, simply because we started to do that kind of autopsy and ask those whys to get to, okay, we need to add these vendors into the Pro Builder. We need to connect the URLs to the email so that when a customer gets the email, they can click on the tracking link that'll take them straight to that particular shipping vendor's website so they can see where their product is and when it's going to arrive. Taking a little bit of time and effort solved that major issue that was generating a lot of calls.
Yeah. I mean, but if you wouldn't have taken that down, it would have just kept happening over and over, and people would have answered the questions the way they've always done it. But it took someone to have to get in and start asking why, because every time you ask why, you peel another layer of that onion off, right? And until you get to where you're trying to get to. And finally, you're going to get to that point to where, okay, now we know why.
And that leads me to the kind of the next point here, and that is you have to turn your customer feedback, insights into actions.
Yeah.
We listen to customers, and I'll take ownership. We have a tendency to listen to customers so that we can try to solve their problem. But what we fail to do is we fail to aggregate those insights into actions that we can take in the business to serve customers better and prevent those issues. Couple of reasons why that happens. Number one, there's a disconnect between the decision makers. I'll say executive leadership. In a lot of companies, there's a gross disconnect between the executive leaders and the decisions that they make and what's actually happening and customer pain points. That's a big problem. The other reason is data silos. The data on one report isn't correlating or being put together with the data on another report. For example, you're seeing all of this customer feedback around shipping. I don't know where my shipping is, right? but you're not correlating that to another report that talks about your customer churn or your turnover, right? The percentage of customers that don't come back to you, in measuring their loyalty kind of thing.
Yeah.
So if you don't tie one thing to the other because they're in data silos, then you never truly understand the impact of what this negative thing is doing to your business.
Mm-hmm.
So disconnect between the decision makers and what's actually happening is killing customer experience, and data silos, not being able to take this insight and connecting it to this business result in the P&L, which motivates decision makers when they can see it impacting the P&L. Dude, that motivates them.
Exactly.
But those data silos, disconnecting there is also killing customer experience, in my opinion. So, a couple things I think I want to leave us with, and that is just sort of a recap of, it starts with hiring.
100%.
You got to hire the right people. Use the Chick-fil-A question that I got from my Chick-fil-A guy in San Antonio. And that question was, tell me the last time that you helped someone, a friend or a neighbor, and you didn't expect anything in return. That's going to tell you the heart.
Yeah, 100%.
You can train mental stuff. You can teach someone mental stuff, but you can't train or teach heart things. You got to hire heart people. And then the next thing is, you got to be a leader that displays the core values every single day. Yeah. However you want your team members to treat your customers, that has to be how you lead, how you hold people accountable with empathy, and how you communicate. Holding people accountable, my gosh, I said we're wrapping up. Holding people accountable doesn't mean you love them any less. It's how you hold them accountable, how you have the conversations, right?
It's all about that. Yes.
So that's the second thing. You got to hire great people, then you got to lead by example. You got to be connected to what's actually happening in your business. So if you're an owner or you're a leader listening to this, you have to be connected to what are your customers actually saying. You're the decision maker. You're the influencer. You're the one that can say, go this way or go that way. But if you don't know what's actually happening, what your customer's saying, you can't give that insight.
Yeah. One thing, and what you said a minute ago, and I want to just bounce off of, because you're just saying it now again to a degree, is, sometimes we have a tendency to, we're listening to the customer, but we're listening. It's almost like when you're listening to people, you're just having a conversation, you listen to solve the problem. Sometimes people don't want you to solve the problem. They just want you to listen to what they're having, to what they're talking about. And it's very easy to get into that, almost that little silo or whatever, where we're listening and trying, okay, they're saying this. Okay, here's what you need to do to fix it. No, they don't want that fixed. They may not, nothing may need to be fixed. They want to speak and let you know. And you can get so much value out of that if you just listen and listen to what they have to say.
100%. Most of the time, when people are having a conversation, they're listening to you for how they want to reply next.
Yeah, 100%.
They're not really listening with empathy to understand what you're saying, why you're saying it, and how you're feeling. They're just listening to you so that they can get to, okay, well, I'll send you a replacement.
Yeah, I'll send you the $5 gift card.
Yeah. And by the way, if you take that 1 star off of Google and change it to a 5-star, I'll give you 10% off your next order.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. Like, come on. So that's a great call out, Wayne. And then the last major takeaway I think everybody needs to know is, you have to connect what your customers are saying to actions in the business and connect them to P&L outcomes.
Yeah.
You can't have data silos where the NPS score is saying one thing and you're looking at that score, you're looking at customer feedback in one silo, and then you're comparing it to what everybody else does in the industry, and you think, okay, well, we're average, or I'm better than average, so I'm okay. Man, connect that thing to your P&L drivers and understand, if I'm at 25% detractors, if I could get that from 25% detractors down to 10% detractors, what would that do for my customer churn? How many people would come back and do business with me again, based on the average order value, that we have? Now you start really ramping up dollars, profit. Now the data that you're getting from this side connects to this side, and you can see where the investment is.
Well, too, when you think about it, when you have those 25 detractors and you get them, say, from 25 to 10, which is a great win, because that's more than cutting it in half. Mm-hmm. The 25, those are 25 that may not ever come back, right? And then those 25 are going to tell 25 more or however much, and so it could be a multiplication or it can be an addition. Doesn't matter. It just can be one of those things that can hurt you. So getting that down, but just paying attention to your customers and really resolving the issue. I love what you said earlier, because I think this is a call out that we need to definitely have, is to keep asking why. That's just a huge thing. When you started talking about that, well, why this? Okay, well, then why that? And then why? You keep asking why enough, you're going to get to the right answer to take care of what's going on internally, but it can also help you take care of the external part, which is your customer.
That's that complaint autopsy.
Yeah.
And you can get on your Copilot and you can ask complaint autopsy and all that kind of stuff to find all the different tips and techniques. We use the whys, love to ask why.
Yeah.
So, I think to wrap this up, we talked about mindset to start off with your t-shirt last, episode, we talked about discipline on your t-shirt. So just to wrap this up, serving your customers and establishing a customer experience culture requires both those things.
Yeah.
Intentional mindset and then discipline, because it is not going to happen overnight. You're going to do these things day after day after day, and you're not going to see a result. And then all of a sudden, 6 months down the road, you're going to be booming. Customers are going to be coming back. And detractors are bad because they're not just not coming back. They are actively telling people to not go to your business.
100%.
One detractor is you should not be, satisfied with.
Exactly.
So if you made it this far through the show, we love you. We appreciate you. We hope that you're enjoying it. And, can't wait to talk to you next time. Please feel free to engage with us on our social media accounts. You can visit us at 3PX on Instagram, on the Facebook, on the LinkedIn, or you can engage with us on our personal social media accounts. We love to talk to you. This is a lot of fun, and hopefully it adds value to your day, to your business. Otherwise, we'll talk to you next time.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks. Love you guys.
I love it.